Jay Grudev. In the U.S., we are pleased to announce the opening of the Ideal Life Assembly for as many as 200 people. With a portion of the Maharshi Vedic Pundit campus in Maharshi Vedic City freed up, the U.S. is taking advantage of some vacant Vastus in the Pundit campus by inaugurating in them a new residential community for yogic flyers. It will be a very, very low-cost home for those who want to participate in super radiance in the U.S. It will be an especially wonderful solution for retirees who want to have a very economical residence where they can float in the bliss of creating invincibility for the U.S. and the world in a large, coherent group. We are well on our way to filling up the campus this fall, and we want to invite meditators, yogic flyers from around the world to participate. Let's turn to the slides now. The first slide. We see an aerial photograph of the Maharshi Vedic Pundit campus, and on the right, outlined in red, we see the area which is now becoming the Ideal Life Assembly. Next, please. Here we see the coherent master plan of the Ideal Life Assembly designed by Dr. Ike Hartman. Next, here's a view of the entry to the community above and a view of the community's private lake below. Next, the assembly hall for knowledge meetings. Next, and here is a vision of the homes as they are now being transformed. Next, here's a photograph of the living room of one of the homes. And next, here is a typical bedroom. Next, please. The sponsors of the Ideal Life Assembly are Raja Hagelin, Raja Babla Pinto, and Dr. Ike Hartman, and it is being organized by Dr. Peggy Palms, mother of the domain of Raja Pat Barrett, with Bob Markowitz and Brian Lee. Donors are welcome to help to underwrite the cost of improvements to the community, which has been set up as a charitable foundation under the U.S. tax code. There is now a lovely website for more information on the Ideal Life Assembly. The URL, as you can see, is ideallifeassembly.com with just one L in Ideal Life Assembly. Enjoy pure knowledge, pure Vastu, and deep experiences for months, years, or decades at a time at a wonderfully economic cost in perfect Vastu in Maharshi Vedic City. This is a very exciting development in the United States. Next slide. We are pleased to announce that Fairfield's largest peace colony is expanding once again. North Campus Village is beginning Phase 5 and the construction of new homes this fall. Next, please. The North Campus Village forms the northeast part of the MUM campus. It's just north of the lovely Fairfield Loop Trail. You can see it on this photograph with north to the right in the shaded blue area on the right. Next, part of the walk to the domes is through beautiful, maintained wooded trails. Next, and it's just a few minutes walk to the domes. Absolutely a perfect lifestyle for rounding. Next, 4 phases of the North Campus Village have been completed for a total of 60 homes and condo apartments. Next, Phase 5, which we see upper right, is going through the subdivision process now and will begin construction in October. Next, please. And here we see the master plan of Phase 5. Next. The west row will consist of 5 townhomes with 3 dwellings per unit. Next. And here we see an elevation of one of these 3-unit townhomes. Each townhome will have 2 bedrooms and 1.5 baths, and will range from about 1,000 to about 1,200 square feet. Pre-construction prices for these units are about $100,000, which is an extremely reasonable price. Next, the next row will be 5 duplexes, that is, with 2 residences in each building. Next, the units will include 2 bedrooms and 945 square feet for $116,000, and one-bedroom units of 655 square feet for about $90,000. Next, please. The next element will be the masterpiece of North Campus Village, a 15-unit apartment building overlooking a park, which we see in orange on the screen. It will feature deluxe apartments, underground parking under the building, an elevator and lobby, and a porte cochere for covered drop-off from vehicles. Next. The easternmost 3 rows will consist of 9 single-family lots for custom homes, which we see in orange. And next, people are already putting down refundable deposits to put themselves in line to choose their home or lot. Next, please. For more information, contact Martin Brett at mbrett@vastupartners.com, as we see on the screen. Next, please. America's next peace colony is in Canton, Ohio, an hour south of Cleveland. It is called Lake Springs Village. You've been hearing about its progress over recent years, and we are pleased to announce that its first home is starting construction this autumn, and 25 will follow, each overlooking beautiful Lake Springs, which we see on the screen, and featuring absolutely perfect Vastu land. Next, please. Here, although it's a bit faint, we see the lots for the 25 homes plus a community center, a kind of peace palace. And next, please, here is a photo of the first home. Well, it will start construction in a few months, but it will be based closely on this lovely home in Maharshi, Vedic City. Next. For more information, contact David Kidd at this email you see on the screen, dkidd, D-K-I-D-D, at tm.org. Next, please. Traditional Chinese temple architects in China are hard at work finishing the construction drawings for the first building at MUM's Institute of Asian American Studies. It will be a faithful replica of a traditional Taoist temple that will serve the university and the institute as a multi-use building. Next, please. Finally, America's newest Vastu building opens in 2 weeks. We see an elevation from the construction drawings here. It is in the federal style, a traditional American style, because it is being built in New Hampshire, in a very early settled part of the United States. It is being built by 2 governors to house 3 family businesses in Peterborough, New Hampshire, near to their perfect Vastu home. And back to me. We have an exciting development from Canada to report. There is a large multi-unit residential project that is proceeding in a large city in Western Canada. The land is owned by the developer now, and the project is moving step by step through the development process. We look forward to reporting more about that project. And in expansion, there are global reconstruction initiatives in the U.S. that are focused particularly on the Indo-American community. That is, the successful people who have come to the U.S. from India, the land of the Ved, who want to live in Vastu in the U.S. This is the wealthiest segment of the U.S. population, and they know Vastu and they value it. We are also focusing on the yoga community, which is a huge segment of the U.S. population between the ages of 21 and 50, and which also, because of their interest in the Vedic technology of yoga, appreciate living in a Vedic home as well. One of the ways that we are reaching Indo-Americans is by using a Facebook ad and lecture campaign similar to those used successfully to promote TM in several nations. We are working with Indo-American developers and with a new Maharishi Vastu architect, John Adams in New York, in a predominantly Indo-American communities in New Jersey. Using ads and lectures, we have compiled now a list of Indo-Americans in New Jersey who want to work with us to live in a Maharishi Vastu community. and the team is working together now on finding the right pieces of land to build for them, our Vastu architect, our Vastu developer, and a real estate agent. And they have found pieces of land and are now narrowing in on the search. Next, to raise the visibility of Maharishi Vastu architecture in the booming yoga community, we have 2 achievements to report. I have just written an article which has just been published in a US yoga journal, which is called Yoga for Your Home. And of course, it is explaining how an extension of yoga is to live in Maharishi Vastu homes. It's just been published and has already resulted in our first request for help from us for a project from a yoga lover, and we are pursuing articles in other yoga journals now as well. And finally, among many lectures this year around the US, in October, John Adams and I will give a half-day presentation to 60 yoga instructors at the Kripalu Center, which is one of the oldest and most respected yoga retreats in the US. So that's the report from the United States. Jai Gurudev.